Welcome, welcome, welcome. Lovely day for a Ghosthack live stream. And lovely day for some drum and bass production, because that's what we are doing today. I see there's one person in the chat. How's it going? But I see that there are also some other people watching that aren't in the chat. So welcome, everybody. All right, looks like we're up and running good. My level's good? Levels are good. Levels are good. All right, this was coming through all right. Looks like we're ready to pretty much go ahead and get started. Had a little bit of an intro there, so I'm just going to go right into it. I want to do some Neuro Liquidy drum and bass today. I want to get experimental with my sound design and really see if I can make something that's interesting, cool, unique, if I can get some good sounds out there and get a good pattern with those sounds. And I know for a fact I can go into Ghosthack libraries to get some good drums, so I'm not too worried about that. But I want to get creative and I want to make something unique here. So, okay, we are all up. We are all up good. I'm looking good. All right. Fantastic. So right off the bat, I'm just going to go ahead and delete these because I don't need them. But I am going to go ahead and just start up with weird sound design. I just want to make some filler basses because this is how I like to think about a lot of dubstep and stuff like this too. But when I'm working with drum and bass, I like to think about basses being lined up in like a couple different categories. First off, main basses. They have the main basses that kind of create the pattern that people follow in their head, right? And normally these basses are a little more understandable. I'll probably make some like bass plucks in here. There'll be something kind of straightforward that has a pitch and a key. And then the other basses will be kind of filler basses. They'll be the neuro-y, kind of wishy-washy, just like swirly around liquid basses that are just hitting in between, that are just there for kind of coolness. And I think about dubstep this way as well, but this is especially prevalent in drum and bass where there's a ton of fillers and the drums are equally as important as the basses. So how do I want to start this? I think what I want to try and do is try to make the most juicy, liquid, watery thing I can make, and then I can resample that and grab a bunch of things from that, and that'll probably make up the filler basses, or at least some of the filler basses in my drum and bass drop that I'm going to be making. And then I mean, if we're lucky, maybe I'll get some good main bass material out of this. I know I did something similar to this when I did a hybrid trap track from scratch, and I ended up getting the main bass out of that. So we'll just see where it goes. We'll see where it takes us. And I think I want to use Harmor. Maybe I want to use Harmor for this one because Harmor has the ability to get some juicy stuff right off the bat, and I can use Harmor's phaser, which Harmor has a great phaser. So I can definitely put that to use here. So to start off, we have that, but that's not what we're looking for. It's not terribly far off, though. It just needs to be juicy. So let's bring in the default. What are my favorite VSTs? Well, it depends on what I'm doing. My favorite VSTs, I would say, if I had to just choose my top favorites, would probably be Serum and Harmor. Other than that, I would choose VSTs that have like real sounds, like pianos and stuff like that. But there are a lot of good VSTs out there. Okay. Now, what I want to do for this is I first want to add a bunch of unison. That's fine. And now I want to go into the harmonic unison pitch. And now this is a quick way to get some juicy artifacts out of your sound, is just to make a shape like this. And then you can fiddle around with it. And this is basically saying these higher frequencies, mid-high frequencies, are going to get detuned even more. Like it's technically this pitch knob, are going to get detuned more. And these mid-low frequencies down here are going to be detuned less. Sounds one worth. It depends on what style of music you're doing. If you do a lot of music with a lot of synths, if you're doing house, trance, stuff like that, then it can definitely be worth it. I do more bass heavy things, so I tend to gravitate toward bass heavy plugins such as Harmor or Serum, but silence is very good. Yeah, Harmor is it's good for weird sound design, in my opinion, but you can still make good plucks and leads and all of the above with it. Do you hear that juiciness? You now get a little bit of juiciness that wasn't there before. And I can mess with the phase here. That'll be fine. And now I can use the prism. Now normally this is what the prism sounds like. As a matter of fact, let me pull up the image here because it's almost more fun to just see in the image. If I go like this. You can get a better idea of what the prism is like. Will you save the stream? Yes, we will save the stream. It will be up on our YouTube channel for years to come. And now what I want to do is I want to change this prism shape as well. Because when I change the prism shape, I'm going to change the way in which it is warping these harmonics. So I'm going to go into here and go harmonic prism. And I'm going to create a shape like this. Let me just delete this right here. I'm going to do something like this. Let me see. It's all curved. I'm going to make something generally like this, where it's just kind of spiky up top, and then it fades down to just about even. It doesn't have to be perfect. I could go through and match these right on the lines and make it perfect. Maybe I even have a saved file. Open presets. Nah, I hadn't saved it yet. But this is basically what I'm doing here. Let me just move this a little bit this way. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. And now let me turn up the prism. There's a little bit of juicy outcome from that. And this can probably be amplified if I add a little bit of distortion. Maybe ribbon? That could be interesting. It's a thick and juicy bass. But how loud is this coming through? Wait a minute. Okay, it's coming through about there. Okay, we're good. We are all good. And now let me use the phaser. I kind of want that to move around. So I will edit articulator and choose LFO right here. So now, since I edited this articulator, now I can enable this LFO and this should move around. And now I just have to change things such as the speed of this LFO right here. So let me just slow it down. And I can change the width position here. So now we get all kinds of interesting stuff like that. I don't think I'm going to change the speed much. I think that's fine. I just wanted something kind of simple. Like nothing too crazy complex as far as movement. I just want the phaser moving it around and stuff like that. Because what I can do now is I can go into here. Because I was just hitting E. Right now I can go down to like... go down to like A, and then I can add a slide note going all the way up to G. Well, I'll just go up to the next A, and then this slide note can come down again, so it'll just slide up to here and then slide down to here. Let me see, like that, and I can just make it nice and long because I basically want to just get an atonal hit out of this thing. Just a long, big hit. Like, I can use that a lot. I actually want to go down to the G. Because I think it sounds kind of nice and deep down there. And, yeah, this is routed right into 1. Let me see if I can't just throw my thick rec on it real quick and if that makes it better. Yep. It's very intense, but I mean, for all intents and purposes. And now, since we have that, basically what I did in this rack, I'll just explain this real quick, is I have a Maximus that's cramming down the bands here. So the high band is getting crammed, the mid band is getting crammed, and the low band is getting crammed individually. They're getting crammed separately. And then the master, I mean, pretty much nothing is happening here. And then we have the OTT doing what the OTT does. We have the Vocodex, which is making it sound kind of juicy. It's giving it a little bit of a plastic quality. Low number of bands, really thick. The order's pretty low. Low time variables. You can see the stuff that I'm doing here. And then I have an EQ to just control those frequencies. And then I have a patcher where each low, mid, and high band is getting ran through soft clippers that look like this. So this is basically multi-band saturation right here. There are a lot of plugins different plugins, third party, that you can use for multi-band saturation. And then it's just running through this hard clipper right here. Everything above this point gets clipped. So, the only one who doesn't like Neuro DMB only jump up. Well, I hope not, because Neuro DMB is a lot of fun. So now that we have that, I basically want to record this out. I'm going to record on play. That'll probably be better. So now I can play this. And now I have this nice solid audio file right here. And I can just go ahead and just fade out this little bit so there isn't any clicking. And now I can drag this right into here. Now I have this audio file, and now I'm going to affect this audio file like on its own. So I'm going to route this into 2. And I'm going to, I can go ahead and, I'm not going to trash what I did in 1, but I'm going to go ahead and add a different plugin called Fracture. I've used this before in other live streams and I believe in a couple videos, but what I'm going to do here, this is basically going to glitch it out. So when I turn these up, and maybe I'll turn the dry wet all the way up. It's like a granular granular resampling tool. It's granular effect. It's free. It's from Glitch Machines. It's called Fracture. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this time variable generally low. And then I can bring this down to about halfway. This is just going to be a little bit of tonal delay here, just for a little extra texture. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to automate these right here. And as you can see, even when it's not playing, there's still some artifacts kind of coming through the plugin. So essentially what I want to do is create automation clips for these. So I'm going to create this automation clip, and I'm going to just generally, and I'm going to just generally move things around here. Just create this shape to get something new. And kind of mess that up a little bit. You will hear those artifacts coming through the plugin even when I'm not playing. But now I can kind of create this automation clip right here. And I'll do the same thing. I'll kind of mess it up. It's really fun to design neuro basses, but I don't like to listen to the genre. I both agree and disagree. I think it's really fun to design neuro basses. And I do like listening to neuro drum and bass, but I will say a lot of neuro drum and bass starts to really sound the same, and it does start to blend together. I think you have to find ways of making it unique. I feel like a lot of drum and bass tends to be a little bit boring, but the potential of the genre to be interesting, I think, is huge. Like, I think it's a genre that most of the producers like people who like it, who are really into it, tend to just kind of be listening to the same sort of stuff over and over again. I feel like it has a lot of room for creativity that not a lot of people use. And that is definitely what I was looking for. I wanted those weird little glitches. And now see what I can do is I can create another one, and I can kind of separate these out. Like I can go like this. I can separate them into, I was just separating them into 4 pieces here. So now I have 4 different slices of each one, and I can kind of mix them together now. Like this goes here, that goes there, and I'll take the front one from here. And that means that this goes here, then this goes here, then I'll take this one, and that goes there, and this will go there, and then that'll go here. You see, I created kind of these new combinations of this pattern that weren't in the other one. So now we're going to get completely different sounds. And now, okay, it's up and working. And now I'm going to add a little bit of effect here. I don't know. Normally I add a vocoder right here. Normally I'd add Vocodex to make it even juicier, but I added Vocodex before. I don't know if this Vocodex will be particularly useful. Yeah, I'll add it. It helps to kind of rein in the clicks and high frequency content. I think it actually works out pretty well. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of, should I add a little bit of soft clipping? Yeah, why is there 2 fruity soft clippers? That doesn't make any sense. I never noticed that. There are 2 fruity soft clippers. Weird. And now I can create this shape. Yeah, now we're getting some really juicy artifacts over there. So now let me go into Edison, and I can record this out a couple times. So I'm just going to record on input. Okay, now we have a nice long audio file of sounds, but there's something else I want to do here. There's something else I forgot, is I want to kind of create chops in this waveform to mix it up a little bit. Right now, I think it's too solid, just one big solid piece. And I want to chop it up into smaller ones so there's gaps. That'll create newer artifacts. How to solve the problem? After recording, the recording is grayed out and does not play. If you copy and paste the recording, then everything will play, but it is long and inconvenient. So you record it in Edison and it's grayed out? That I am not sure of. I mean, normally it's like this, but you should be able to just take the file and drag it out here. And if you see that the file is still grayed out, then maybe it looks something like this. Then you can just take this little tool right here, this muting tool, and unmute it. I'm not, as far as inside of Edison, I've never really had that issue, but it's messy, but it's so cool. Yeah, it is pretty messy, and that's why I want to just take small clips, because it's kind of designed to be messy. That's sort of its purpose. But I just want to take these clips and I want to separate them, give them room to breathe, because it turns out that that's actually pretty important. It probably wouldn't sound like it's important, but it is. When it's all kind of running together, it is pretty important. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm just going to take the ones at the front again, move them over here. Dope. Okay, so now we have this. this makes it a little easier for us to get individual hits. So now we're going to record this out as well, and then we'll have a lot of material to work with. Alright, and the last part actually seemed to be the coolest there. But we'll take individual pieces from that, and that'll be pretty cool. So now we have that. Now I'm going to bring this down here. Ooh, hello. I'm going to bring this down here, and I'm just going to go ahead and mute this because we don't have a need for it. It doesn't need to stay. Now we have our two audio files, and there's a lot of sounds to work with in there. A lot of them are very similar, so I may do some more sound design as well, but that's a good start. And this was just recorded straight from there, so we can mute both of these. And I can just whoosh, put these way over here where we're not going to need them. And now I think the next thing I want to do, now that I have some sounds, is find some drums, because I do want to make a beat and I want to layer things together and see what other sounds I want to add in here, because obviously this is going to be more than just that. So for drums, I'm going to go to, yeah, I think I am. I'm going to go to the Ultimate Producer Bundle 2020 because they have exclusive drums, and I really like the kick drums that are in these. I think these kick drums actually are very, very nice. So I'm going just like the hard and heavy kicks. Well, that right there is awesome for drum and bass. It's not super bassy, but it's nice and aggressive. It has the low end punch that we want without droning on for too long. So that's a good thing. We'll route this guy into one. And now I want to take a snare. I don't know if I want a snare from here, but let me see what they have. Maybe I can pick a natural snare. I could layer. Because a lot of drum and bass will use kind of natural sounding snares, but I do want to layer it with like an electronic snare, like a heavier snare. I'll take that. Oh, and of course we need it at 170. Should I do 175? Yeah, I'll do 175. That'll be fine. Yeah, we made a lot of sample packs. These sample. I only have like some of the sample packs that Ghosthack has made. Like this isn't all of them. There's a lot of packages, but yeah. So now let me take those claps and snaps. Let me take. Do I want small and short snares? Or do I want to go hard and heavy? A lot of these are kind of trappy. Oh, that one doesn't sound bad. Every now and then if I want to test something, I'll just slightly lift up my headphones and see what happens. We'll see how it sounds if there's a little bit of an air gap. I don't know why, but that seems to help a little bit when it comes to seeing if a sound is actually good. I'll actually go with that. Normally I'd go for something harder and heavier, like something like that, but like smaller and shorter. But I think I like this. So I'm going to route these both into two, and then I'm going to affect them both. So this one has a tail. This one does as well. I think that's not bad. So now let's take a look at this kick. Let's run it through a wave shaper. We can't crank it too hard without distorting it. Normally I just bring this dot over here until I hear it distorting, but it actually distorts pretty quickly. So I'll bring it to the point where, like just before I start hearing distortion. Shorter snares are used quite often, yeah. Yeah, it depends on the genre. Dubstep, not so much. If you're making rhythm, then it's usually claps. But if in drum and bass, there's a lot of short snares. Now for the snare. Yeah, now I want to go ahead and use that same thing, wave shaper. Maybe we can add a little bit of this. Yeah, I actually like it better this way. It's a little bit tighter. Stuff like that. Okay. And I can trim up this snare as well, because you don't need that little bit of extra tail. And it'll look a little bit cleaner. Don't like hard drums. Where's the fun in that? We're making an aggressive genre. Sounds pretty cool. I think after this, I do want to add some layers on top of everything. Like I do want to add some like hats and tambourines and stuff like that. I have some hat and percussion loops that I could use if I wanted to say, hey, I just want this 175 hat loop. To just layer. But I don't know if I want to use the hat loops in this instance. I think I want to just kind of make my own very simple hat loop, and then I can add some other things like tambourines and cymbals and rides and stuff like that to fill it out. So closed hats. There are some good hats in here. They're unique. It isn't just like white noise. Like it's kind of they're interesting. They have more texture and tone. Like that one. And that's one of those things that I could add just in the background slightly, going constantly all the time. Like I can add this right here, this right there. And then I'll pan it maybe to the right a little bit. And then other hats can kind of be doing different grooves. So that sounds kind of interesting. I can use that. I just want to create something basic. And then one more hat. Okay, that's cool. And I'm going to route these to their own so we can mix them in. See, this will go into 3, this one will go into 4, and this one will go into 5. So we have our 3 hats going here, and then I can just add some layers on top of this. How long does it usually take for me to track this genre in general? It really depends. Sometimes I can spit it out if I make a really good pattern for these basses, and sometimes it takes me a long time. I can actually move these down a little further because I'm actually going to need this space. But I tend to kind of, I don't tend to rush myself when I'm making music. I like to pay attention to details that my brain thinks needs to be paid attention to. And I want to make sure something sounds good instead of just throwing it out there haphazardly. And now I can get some cymbals. Where do I want to get like ride cymbals and stuff like that? I can get that from a lot of different places. I think I'm going to go into Ghosthack's Drum Hero 3 because there are some good ride cymbals. Oh, these are good. They're just classic sounding ride cymbals. I think I'm going to go with 2. And then just turn this down. This is a good sound for drum and bass. Yeah, that fills out a lot of space. This will go into 6. I don't think I want it panning right now. And then after that, I want a tambourine. Where can I get a tambourine? I want to get a tambourine somewhere. I don't think there'll be tambourine loops here. I could probably get it from the Drum Hero 2. Maybe Drum Hero 2 has tambourines. Hats and cymbals. Now there's rods, there's open hats. I'm trying to think of where we might have tambourines. Let me try the Platinum Producer bundle, because maybe there is some in there. General, one-shots, hats and tambourines. True, maybe there's a tambourine loop I could throw in, because that would also be really nice. Yeah, tambourine loop. Just to add a little bit more high frequency texture. I don't know if I want this one or that one. Let me just make sure this is in time here. Yeah, I definitely want this one. It adds like an organic texture to everything. This is going into 7, where I'm actually going to use Maximus to compress it a little bit. I don't want the really sharp impacts, I just want kind of the decay, just the overall rattle of the tambourine. And I will add a slight bit of reverb. For a bit of room. I'll do the same for this little ride. I don't want it too roomy. And also this snare is going to get pitched up. Wait a minute. Goes up 2. And then this one goes up 2 as well. Yeah, it's good. We'll decide if that's too much once we start layering basses and things. But right now I want to see if I can find good spots in which we can create a pattern. I keep coming back to that spot. I really like it. So I think I'm just going to see if I can throw that somewhere. Okay, so that's some like kind of an interesting phrase. But I feel like that's not something that would be used as a main element. I think that's kind of something that would be more at the end. Just like to kind of complete it off. So this is sort of how I do this. It's kind of a Dr. Frankenstein, Picasso kind of mix and match. I just want to throw things here, other things here. I want to just arrange it in different ways. See, and there's hits here. Little hits like that are going to be extremely useful, and that's kind of why I created this other file as well, where there was kind of gaps and separation between the files. It's because I like using those. That would be an interesting way to start it off, just a... It's not that juicy though. I'd kind of want to I'd like to start off with like a juicy hit. Maybe not that one, but something like it. I just want to get the first hit of this track. Ooh. I didn't expect this to be cool. Okay. This like these double hits right here I think are really interesting. And I think those would be useful when we're creating kind of the main pattern. So I'm going to keep those here, but I still want to find kind of a first hit to start off with. And this is a really handy tool to use, this little double arrow where you can just slide around in an audio file. It's super handy to do stuff like this, because like I know I want something here, but I don't know which part of this file I want it. So you can just scroll through. I just have to find something practical. And methinks that I might have to take this file instead, this nice and long file, and find something juicy here. Because there could be something a little bit better for our needs. And that's why I made two files, because they will be slightly different. I'll get different stuff each time. So I want to just cram this in this small area. And now find the right one. Ooh. little bit off time. I just need to scoot this bit a little bit, but we're finding some good material to work with here. This is why I like using random sounds. I can work with that. Yeah, that's interesting. I like that to use those as kind of a cool pattern. And now we'll pick something else to kind of work here. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words an awful lot today. It's not really like me. Hopefully the sarcasm of that relayed through the stream. I keep getting these double hit files and it sounds so good. Like it doesn't really work there, but something like that is what I want. 1 hour only for the drums. Hey, we're not trying to wait. Have I been going for an hour? Yeah, about 50 minutes. Yeah, drums and basses. I mean, this is drum and bass. I'm working on basses right now. I made these basses in this hour as well. And now I can do something like this. I can go like this. Create glitches like that. That's fun. I liked them where they were. And now I'll work on some more bass. Right now I am going to save this though. I'm just going to save this as, yeah, this is just random stuff. So this will be stream D&B. And now new sounds. I want to make something that makes a little more sense, like is easier to understand than just random sounds. So I'm going to open up Serum. And now, so bad I would use a loop. Hey, I mean, drum loops are very useful for getting stuff done quickly. And I did use a tambourine loop here, but it's good if you have an idea and you really want to get the idea down fast, especially when it comes to your basses and stuff like that. You're like, I just need something to layer over this so I don't get stuck in my own head. It's extremely useful. And I use top loops. You know what I'm saying? Like top loops are also extremely useful. And I'll use my own kick and snare loops if I'm like, man, it just works. It just works so well throwing it in right there. I don't have the heart to change it. So now we are faced with a different task, the key. I don't exactly know what key I want it in because right now everything we have is atonal. I'm thinking F. And I think I'll just work with F. But do I want to use Serum? I don't know if I do. I used Harmor in the other bit, and Harmor sounded so good. I don't know if I have any good presets that would work for this. But even then, I don't know if I'd want to use presets. I feel like just for the sake of the stream, I want to make it. Like I could use this. Because I made that recently and I really like it, but I think I want to make something unique, make something new. Yeah, I am going to use Serum. I'm going to use Serum. And I'm going to start out with just a basic concept of taking a saw wave and then adding a little bit of noise and then running it through a crap load of distortion. I'm going to start out with that concept, and now I'm going to kind of manipulate it, like maybe add a different wavetable here. Spectral, maybe a monster. We get something kind of growly out of that. And now let's use the filter maybe to control this. Maybe we could add a band pass. That could be interesting. I just want to create something that is more easily recognized. So now what that did is that kind of, I'm hitting buttons on my keyboard. So now what that did is that made it really quiet. But we can bring that up with the multiband compressor. We can maybe do something like that. We just have to make sure that it's mixed in with the rest. So now I can add a little bit of hyperdimension. Maybe a little bit of chorus as well. And then after that, I think I'm just going to run it through a mixer channel. Which mixer channel should this be? Oh, I have two serums. Didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to delete the serum. And now this one, we'll just run through 10. I'll run it through 10. And let's see if I can use the thick rack that I kind of showed before in the stream. Yeah. Another thing I want to do here is add a little bit of bit crushing, just a little bit, with this free plugin called, where is it? Crush. Yeah. I like adding just a little bit of those artifacts. I know I keep hitting F, but I keep feeling E instead. Let's kind of rein in this right here. Maybe rein in the chorus. Yeah, it's a little bit better. It's a little messy here, but now I can go ahead and, let's see, where are we? Cut the sub. So if I just have a hit in E, well, that's not a slide note. There we go. Let's see where I can arrange this in our track here, because I do like this sound. It's a nice, simple, understandable sound. Yeah, maybe this is just one of those sounds that comes in every now and then. But we need something to solidify the key, that the key is in E. And I think that I can just do that through maybe some chords, which is a really interesting thing to add to drum and bass. I remember I added it in some of my drum and bass productions, and it worked out pretty well. So I'm gonna go into Harmor and create some new chords in Harmor. I know I'm using Harmor a lot, but once I start using it, it's just such an interesting plugin to use. And now I can change this to 9. I'm gonna turn the phase all the way up, so it's nice and smooth. Add a little bit of that harmonizer. That tremolo is interesting. Yeah, I'll add a little bit of that. And now, vibrato. Now I'm gonna stay away from the vibrato. I am, however, going to add a little bit of the phaser. And use it like that. And now a little bit of chorus. Some compression here, maybe warming. Maybe the phaser position was a little bit extreme. I just want to lay down this chord and see if I can throw that somewhere. Problem is, this actually sounds like it has a pitch. What pitch is that? Let me try this real quick. Let me, what's up with this Maximus? Don't know why that was there, but I want to go ahead and record this out and see if I can't locate its pitch. It does appear to be in C, because this, yeah, when I play E with it on my keyboard, it appears to match up with this chord, which is E. So that's playing C, so I want to make this unique, and now I want to pitch it up 3. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Sorry, my bad. I want to pitch it up 4. 3, 4, and now I will see how this works. Well, it has to be fit to the time now. See, that's the one issue about making things atonal, is sometimes they come out tonal, but not in the way that you wanted it to. So I'll change this to E mono. This definitely needs some more backup. Oh boy, that's not it. Uh-oh. Messed up the time. There we go. And now these basses right here, they're going to have the sub cut from them. So I'm going to route this into 11. Including this one. Because I feel like that's one thing that's making it sound kind of messy. Is the sub. We'll have to add our own sub separately. Yeah, now we'll route the chords into a different track. This would be 13, I believe. Or will it be 12? Actually, it will be 12 probably. Yeah, because I just want to make these chords subtle. I want to kind of lower this right here. I want to lower this right here. I just want to make these subtle and have a little bit of reverb. Just want them to flutter around for a second. And then maybe pitch this up 12. Yeah, like that. But now it doesn't sound, love the shirt, thanks. Not too much. Right now I just have this drum loop that I created right here from Ghosthack drums. And now I'm working with these bass samples that I created in the beginning of the stream to make some sort of pattern. And right now I think I'm going to add a sub because it sounds so empty that I just need some kind of sub. And it also sounds empty because the mixing is not great. But I'm going to get to the mixing as well. So let's go citrus. And let's pull up my sub. Now some of you may not be able to hear this depending on what you're listening to, but this is going to be a very important part of this track. So track is an E. It starts right here, like that with the chord. And now I'm just going to lay the sub pattern under these patterns. So I know we don't have a lot of window space to work with here, but I will make the most of it. Let me change this to song. And as far as adding a sub to these other sounds that don't really have any pitch, I'm going to use slide notes. So you see I just put a G and a D right there. They're just sort of random notes. I'm going to have them slide around. Like this G is going to slide down to E, and this D is going to slide up to F maybe. So that's what they're doing. It's hard to hear because it's in sub frequencies, but... And then I can just use that. That's only something that you're ever going to feel. You're never really going to hear that. So that up and down is actually going to add a little bit of dynamics to the track. Just dynamic presence to the sub frequencies. And we have two little sub hits here, which we can just do in E. And then we'll take these again. That goes there, that goes there. So now we have 2 little glitches at the beginning here. And then we have just kind of a falling down. So now we'll create this falling down with the slide notes. So it just goes A, slide right down to D. And then these can just be, honestly, be whatever. They're so short that it's not going to matter too much. And now we can route the sub to a different channel. I'm going to route this right into 9 actually, because it needs to be louder. Let me just make sure that these velocities are all the way up. There we go. And we have one thing that we just heard that is not routed into any track. Yeah, this needs to be routed into 11. Okay, that filled out the low frequencies, but there's still a lot of room for new stuff. I really do like this sound. I wish I could use it a little more. This, where is it? Maybe I could just try using it right at the front. But now I want to find a spot to use this, because it does sound really cool. I actually just set this aside because I know I want to make sounds that are more neuro-y. Right now this is very interesting, but it doesn't sound super neuro-y. I want to make neuro-y basses. And what time are we at? Because we have been going longer than I thought we were going. We're at like an hour right now. I want to see how long it would take for me to make a neuro bass. I don't know how long this would take, because I could take some of my neuro bass samples, or I could go into Ghosthack files. But I think I can still do it. I think it can be done without. So what I want to do is I want to make a Reese. I want to make a Reese bass. Actually, I'll tell you what I can do. There's a tutorial that I have out there that shows how to make a Reese bass like this. Let me see if I can find it. If I can find it, then I'll use it because it's pretty cool. Growl. It wouldn't be in growls. Make it. Is it here? Is it just out here? Because there was a tutorial I made on how to make a heavy Reese bass in Serum. It's out on the Ghosthack YouTube channel right now. And let me see if I can locate it. Super Square, Weird D&B. It's not here. It would be under basses. Heavy Reese. Yeah, this was it. So now we're in the key of E. So I'm just going to create a new pattern. And I'm going to create a little pattern for E. And this is going to, yeah, mono legato, so there's a little bit of slide. Like that. Yeah, I'm considering resampling this, but I'm also considering not. It depends. It sounds pretty good. So I'll route this into 13. Where I will cut the sub. And I'll get rid of this sub hit. And see if I can't use this Reese somewhere. That's interesting. Kind of fills in those little gaps, and now I can add stuff to it to make it fit in with the other basses a little bit better. Such as maybe I can run it through my same rack that I went over a little bit earlier in this stream. Never fails. It's so good. I like it. It's not overpowering to the point where like nothing can be done with it other than what it does. Like I can still go in and edit it a little bit to fit whatever sound I'm doing, and it also just generally makes things nice and loud. So I will indeed use this again. I need to cut this sub. This is just a filler bass, so I don't want it to be super loud and super upfront. Yeah, I actually showcased the rack a little bit earlier in this stream, but I can just run through it really quickly again. Maximus cramming down multi-band compression, just high, mid, low compression, nothing weird about that at all. I have OTT, it's going through some OTT. It's going through a Vocodex, which is actually doing a lot if I turn this off. It has not like there's all the high gritty sounds, and then this kind of darkens it up, makes it a little thicker and deeper. You can see kind of the stuff I'm doing here with the low order, the 20 bands, all these knobs, low time variables, RMS, that kind of thing. And then I'd have some extreme EQing going on here. Really just controlling. If I take away the EQ, oh, it's super, super loud now, actually. Normally I'd do that to control those low frequencies, but now that I took it off, it actually sounds pretty awesome. So I'm actually, normally that's how I would do it in like growls and stuff like that, but in the case of a Reese bass, I'm just gonna scratch that. Then I have this EQ. That I'm using to kind of make it a little less powerful. Because this is just a filler bass to fill in those gaps. I don't want it to be too super strong to overpower other things. I just want it to kind of be bubbling underneath the surface. And what that means is I think I have to do some more with a phaser. So let me pull up a phaser in here and see if I can add a little bit of that just to make it kind of weirder, kind of slosh it around a little bit. Because the other sounds have phasers, so this would kind of make it fit in a little more. There we go. And now I can add a little bit of Serum effects in order to widen it out a little bit. It's very mono right now. I want to widen it out. So for that, I have a little bit of hyperdimension and I have some chorus. Yeah, I lost a little bit of the oomph, and that's kind of the point. I want to make this one sound a little bit worse in order to bring up the other sounds. This can be a different hit right here. Yeah, maybe something like that. And now I think this needs more space. Maybe a little bit of verb. That is a lot of verb. Maybe because it's coming before all the effect chain. That could add a little bit of flair, and then just a little bit of verb after. Where can I add some more stereo in this? Let me add the free stereo plugin from Kilohertz. Oh, no wonder it doesn't sound together. I forgot a very important part. I forgot the side chaining. I need to side chain these right now. I was wondering why it doesn't really sound like one with the drums. I'm like, I'm not really feeling this. I'm not side chaining because I'm an idiot. So let's create the side chain. I think I'll just take a random, I think I'll just take 20, right? And I will route this. How can I dock it? Yeah, dock it to the right. And now this is going to be right here. And now all of these things are going to go through the sidechain. Because it should be sounding a little better than it was. So I'm going to route all to this track only. So all of these channels are now all going through this one. And now we're just going to do some janky sidechain. This isn't going to be some super efficient, best method ever for sidechaining. This is just going to be some basic ducking that we're doing. So I'm going to bring the ceiling up, right? And then I'm going to bring these time variables down a little bit, not too low. Not too low. And now I'm going to create an automation clip for this gain. Oh, which is, this has a whole product. I forgot I had files out here. And now I'm just going to create a sidechain shape for these basses based around the drums. So I'm going to copy this value. Copying this value is at 50%. It's at 50%. And now I'm going to set the max right here. So now the max value that this thing can go is actually 50%. So right up here is at 50%. It was down there, but I brought the max down to halfway. So now this is constantly just at 50% of the limiter. So now that it's all the way up, you can see it's only halfway up here because we set that as the max. And now let me just create this shape, the shape that we want. We want just a basic sidechain shape. And the best thing I like to do is actually to take a look at the kick. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to create a gap where I can take this sidechain and place it up there. And now I can take a look at the kick and look at what the kick's doing. So it lasts to about here. Let me see, Alt, yeah. It lasts to about there. So I'm going to bring it down like this. And I'm going to follow this shape. About halfway is where it really starts dropping off. So we can do the double curve like this. And this will be our kick sidechain. And I think I'll actually make it a little bit tighter because it's pretty extreme, but that's what we're going to do for that. And now I'm just going to add a little gap underneath, underneath the kick for the snare, because we're going to add the snare sidechain as well. Because the snare is a good bit tighter in its initial impact. So I want to create something different here. So let me make it unique. And then I really just want to make it tighter. I don't think there's anything too complicated. Just want it to be a little bit tighter because this snare is also not very prevalent in the low frequencies, so it doesn't need to be sidechained in the same way that the kick does. So let's see how this works, if that just straight up that improves it. Okay, it makes it sound together a little bit more, but this sidechain for the kick is still kind of extreme. Yeah, giving manual control is pretty interesting. It's pretty useful. But the thing I want to do here is I realize that I like this pattern. But the sound itself doesn't really fit in with the other basses because the other basses sound very juicy and processed and wet, while this bass right here is still very dry. It doesn't sound too nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to render it out. I really like resampling in drum and bass. I think it's really interesting. And I'm actually going to run it through Harmor, and I can show you how to run basses through Harmor. Okay, so there is our little loop here. And now I can just normalize it, yeah. And now let me pull up another Harmor, and we can do something interesting. Let's see. See, this is at the point in the stream where I kind of gauge how I'm doing as far as how the song's going. And right now, I think the song that I'm working on right here has potential to be cool. This isn't the coolest thing that I've ever created in my life. It isn't the most interesting thing, but I think we're kind of making some progress as far as creativity goes. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this right in here. And now if I play C in Harmor, wait, there's already stuff done to this. I have to choose default. Okay. And now I can drag it in here. Or maybe there wasn't stuff done to this. I'm going to turn off velocity. And then what I'm going to do is, you can see there's an A-B here for Harmor, is that there's basically two oscillators. There's two, well, not two oscillators, but there's two sections here where you can be controlling two different sounds. Like I can mix A and B together. Like if I say A, you're this, and B, you're just a square wave. Then I can turn on B, turn off A. I have the square wave, and I can mix them together. And switching from A to B just changes which one you're looking at the time. So right now, I'm going to enable B, but I'm going to go into effects here, or advanced, excuse me, and I'm going to click this side button. And what this does is it says when I import this image right in here, or import this audio file, and you can see the image, it's only going to take the side information. So we have A being the mono information and B being the side information. So if we slide this so we're just listening to A, and then we slide this so we're just listening to B. If you're listening on something mono, maybe like your phone speaker or something else, then you may not be able to hear that, but that's just the side information. Then when we bring it in the middle, we can just mix it in, and we get this. And now I can use Harmor as kind of an effect plugin, because right now I'm just hitting C. So I'm going to lay down a note. Lay down C5. If I were to play a different note, it would change like that, which is kind of an interesting thing to do, but I don't think I want to do it. I want to just lay down one big long note, and I don't actually know how long that is. Oh yeah, that's long enough. So that's going to be the full length, and it's just going to play the same pattern, because all it is just resampling. And now we can use Harmor to affect it, kind of like we did before. Remember how we made, or well, if you were here in the beginning, then you probably saw how I made kind of the juicy bass right up front. I'm going to use those same techniques, but apply those techniques to this sound that we created in Serum. Harmor's awesome for this. I love throwing other basses into Harmor and creating new stuff. So now we can add unison. Oh, we got to make sure that we're adding unison to everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see, where is it? Should be able to link, yeah, I'm going to link these two parts together. So what I do in one part will be reflected on the other part. So if I go 9 right here and bring this phase all the way up, it should be the same. Yeah, it'll be the same for B. So now if these parts are linked, all the effects stuff that I do here will happen in both parts at the same time. That's very important. So now, so now we're getting some weird stuff. And now I can go into here and do the same thing we did before, where the harmonic unison pitch, like back in the beginning of the stream, where I made this shape to create kind of a juicy sound. And I just want to get some artifacts, some interesting, weird, juicy sounds. Maybe a little bit of distortion here. Log would actually be pretty strong. Maybe some heating compression. Maybe not heating, maybe just warming. And then I could go into, say, the local EQ. I'm just messing around and seeing what kind of stuff I can get with Harmor right now. If I go into the local EQ, then if I boost the low, it's a little much, so I want to bring it down. I'm basically controlling the EQ that's going into the distortion right now. So if I route this into a different track, say 14, and I can just go ahead and take out the bass. And then route it through the sidechain. Jeez. Why is it louder? Oh, because it's routing through the master too. Okay. That has the potential to be to mix in a little better with the other sounds. Or what could be really interesting is if we layered both of these together, if we had both of the sounds together layering. So we have this. That could be interesting. These basses right here need to be a little bit stronger, so I'm just going to be really cheeky and throw a sound goodizer because I can. All right, so we got interesting stuff going on here. It isn't really easy to follow, which is one thing that I'm thinking is that it's not an easy pattern to kind of remember in your head. These chords can be a little louder. Where is it? Yeah, and I think I actually might add a little bit of delay to these, but I'm gonna do something to make it a little more groovy, a little easier to follow. Maybe I'll put it on 8. Yeah, it's kind of more what I'm wanting. Ooh. And the sub needs to follow this. It's kind of hard to write the sub patterns when there's so much going on, so I'm going to pitch the sub patterns up. And it's just so we can see where the sub needs to be. That's an interesting pattern to hear with the sub so high. I'll just stick with that right there. And now if we pitch this down, wait, actually, I think what I want to do is shorten all of these just a little bit. So all of these right here can be shortened. This right here can be shortened. This right here can be shortened. And all that just means all I want to do is, what am I talking about? All I want to do is just add a little more impact to this. So there's a little bit of spaces between each sub hit. So it sounds more like individual hits instead of all one long big thing. So that's going to be kind of beneficial, hopefully. Hopefully that'll be pretty beneficial. It'll add more dynamics in the low end. Now I want to add a little bit of verb. And now there's something else I want to add, and that means I want to go back to the drums because I want to add some little ghost snares. Because I think it's important for these drum loops to be a little more complex when we're working with this. I just want a small snare. So I'm going to go back into the Ultimate Producer Bundle 2020 for the drums, and I'm going to select a snare. See if we got some people watching. Yeah, we still got some people watching. Nice. And we just want something small. That's kind of nice. I'm actually going to add a little space right below the other snares to add this kind of ghost snare. like that. And then I can scoot this kick over. Just want to create just a slightly different pattern here. And then I can do a little double hit. Just to kind of mix it up at the end. It sounds so messy. Something makes me think it's this. Actually, there's something interesting I want to do at the end here, where I want to take out these. And then I can take out these drums as well. And then maybe I'll take out this. Yeah, and then I can add like a little drum fill, drum loop. Hey, how you doing? I was probably gonna stay long. Really not a fan of this music. Nothing personal, of course. Yeah, it's a what do you call it? It's an acquired taste. Yes, it's an acquired taste for this kind of stuff. And I would say the stuff that I'm making right now is a little bit chaotic. It's a little more chaotic than I would normally do. But hopefully I can kind of rein it in a little bit before the end and make it a little more understandable, because there's a lot of stuff going on, especially mixing wise. And now I just want a little drum fill going on right here. And I think I can get it. There's this pack that I got just from online of drum and bass breaks. I forget where I got it. I just found it online somewhere. That one's pretty tight. And they're really good for these kind of fills. I'm actually going to put some EQing on these drums. Take out a little bit of the harsh high end. Smoother trap. Oh, I like fast music. I like energetic music. Yeah, I can do that. But I really want to rethink this pattern. Because it's just so messy. That I think I'm going to add something else. I want to add the kind of neuro drum and bass plucks instead of those messy hits. So I'm going to take these and I'm just going to kind of scrap these. It's important to know when something is kind of run its course. Wait a second. Yeah. Don't mind this. I enjoy making more slower. I always like to make more melodic. Yeah, I kind of get that. It's like the difference between like bouncing up and down like this and like a head banging kind of thing. And I totally get that difference. It kind of depends on what mood I'm in that day. Because I've heard this played, I've gone to like dubstep shows or trap, like, you know, shows like that where everyone's trying to headbang. And if drum and bass music is playing, it gets really hard to kind of groove to it because it's not really a good tempo for headbanging. You feel like you got to like bounce up and down, and it's like a different kind of energy other than just an up and down kind of thing. 120 to 130 is awfully slow, but at least for, wait, were you the one who said you made melodic dub? Oh, no. The other person said they made melodic dub. Okay, that's a little bit different. Yeah, then that'd be more of a 4 to the floor or just a really slow vibing trap. Okay, so now I want to create plucks. Give me plucks, which I think, do I have plucks in Harmor? I keep using Harmor, but Harmor's really good for this kind of stuff. Don't know if I have any good plucks already in Harmor, but as far as bass plucks goes. But in that case, I might just use Serum. Because I just want to create some do. I don't want it to be super clean the way that like a psytrance pluck is clean. I want it to be more like this. Like if you listen to like some actual Harmor presets, I'm going right back to Harmor, but some actual Harmor presets. Where are they? Like analog bass, like. It's not actually far off from what I'm looking for. I just need something that's more why is it lasting so long? Oh yeah, there's part A. I just need something kind of like that. But I want to be able to open up the filter. What'll happen if I link these? Actually sounds pretty good. But maybe I can go in, because there's a lot of sub that you're hearing. I can go into the local EQ and then kind of take care of these frequencies. Oh, sorry. Hit my mic. Why is it decaying so much like that? Where's the volume? Pluck them out. Yeah. Filter shape. Local EQ. I'm just gonna go volume. And go like that. And now when we bring up the pluck, actually, I'm going to undo what I did with the local EQ because it didn't seem to improve it much. Yeah, this sounds really tight. I really like the tightness of it. Use it all at the same time to go in a completely different direction with it. That's good. I mean, it means to different producers do different things. It's a good thing. Okay, so right now this is what I want to do with this pluck. This is really subtle, but if you do a bunch of fast plucks, I've heard this used a lot in kind of neuro drum and bass music, and I really want to utilize it. It's very tonal, but it's very subtle. What is going on with my snap right now? What am I on here? I'm on half step for some reason. So I'm going to create a part like that. Then I'm going to create a part that's even faster. And this is going to be helpful when we like to fill in these gaps. Oh, that actually sounds really cool, as long as I make sure that I trim it up and chop it up where I need it to go. Because right now I just created the pattern. This will be useful, I promise. And there was something here at some point. What was it? What if I just throw one of those back in here? Nah, I don't really want to do that. Maybe I'll add, maybe I'll revive one of these right here and just put it right there. Yeah, just a little spot. Yeah, and now the fun part is when we get to automate the pluck, so it kind of opens up, so it goes from a do 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 into a do 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 like that. This will sound a lot cleaner than what was going on before. That's about as low as I think I want it to go. So I'm going to just, well, I don't need to do that. I can just create automation clip. Create automation clip for that pluck. And there we are. I like when it goes fast. It sounds really cool. Do, 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 do. Since this is as low as I want it to go, like this line right here that I have is as low as I want it to go. I don't want it to go any lower. I'm going to copy this value, and paste it on the minimum. So now it will never go lower than 17% down here. So now I could slightly, excuse me, Microsoft, and now I could slightly just ride this up a little bit. Let me put this on single curve. Just like that. Oh wait, I have to go into here and let's see, where's this? Yeah, analog bass. Now I have to make sure that the release is like none. And now this is where the important part comes in, where we have to make sure these are just a little short. Let's see if this sounds good. Ooh. And now I want to make sure that these are plenty saturated. And now I can just take this part and move this here. I just have to chop these things around and move them around to where they're going to fit within the track. Just like that. Oh, and I also have to make sure that these are going through the sidechain, or to this track only. And then the next thing I want to do, yeah, the sub is getting cut, is go into a Maximus actually, and say the lows right here are not getting much stereo. The mids can get a little more stereo, and the highs can get even more. There's like nothing in the highs, honestly. And now this ghost snare that isn't routed into anything is getting a little annoying just by itself. So I want to route it into something. 8. This is going right into 8. Here's the question. Could we add Vocodex on this, or will that make it too messy? I actually really like that. Okay, it's not perfect, but we definitely did save it from what it was before. Before, it was just too messy. It sounded cool, but it was just a little too messy. What is this right here? Oh. Yeah, I'll put that there. But now we have to put layers on top, because this is not all that I'm going to do here. I want to add some kind of layers, that like textural layers, synth layers, something that is actually tonal maybe. I want to definitely do that. So maybe I could get some kind of vocal and maybe do some vocal manipulation, vocal tricks, vocal chops, something like that would be interesting. Where do I want to go for that? Because I could go into Ultimate Vocal Library 2 Premium. So there are vocal loops here. But I don't think that's the kind of vocals I want. I think I want, oh, what if we went, oh, hang on. Because maybe I could find some cinematic vocals. I'm trying to remember what the package was exactly. So it could be deep D&B. Deep D&B would be interesting. That's a lot of focus on neuro-ish basses, but it's all just a lot deeper and kind of hovering below the surface. Is it in here? Cinematic. Stratosphere. Yeah, there's some wave files from Stratosphere that include vocals. Like there's some vocal effects. This would be kind of interesting. Plinky piano riff. That could be interesting as well. But there's different things we could do here. I could add some strings. Yeah, stuff like that. It's that maybe put it in key. And then take this and throw this over here. Yeah, that adds a nice transition. I just want to leave that in the background. I want to see if we put that in place, if that could be useful as well, because these sound really interesting and I like them a lot. This is in C. We need it in E. C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Nah, it's not too useful, but I can still do there's like a hover vocal file that I know exists because I made it. Plinky piano stuff is a good idea. I might add some piano. That could add some good texture and variation. But where was it? Was it in I think it was in the EDM district of, or was it in the EDM district? Oh, I forget. I've made so much stuff. Yeah, I think it's in the EDM district of the Platinum Producer Suite. There should be vocal loops. No, there aren't vocal loops. No, well, these are vocal loops, but vocal hover loops. There's vocal hover loops somewhere. I know they exist in my library. When I find them, I'll tell you exactly where I got them. But, no, those are Advent vocal loops. That's not it. Was it in? Ooh, I have to find it. Have to find it. I know exactly what they sound like. Ultimate Vocal Library 2. Vocal loops. Yeah, vocal hover loops. So I'm going to take, this is in the Ultimate Vocal Library 2, and I'm going to take this. It's in D, so I'm just going to make it in E. We're in E, right? Yeah, we're in E. Okay. I'm also going to stretch this in time. Maybe I'll slow it down. Yeah, those add some nice vocal layers. So that's fun. It's fun and interesting. Where can I route these? 8 and 9 open? 9 is not open. 8 is, so I'll just throw it into like, I love how it skips 20. I'll just throw it into like 21 and 22 so we can start other sound effects at like 20. So 21 and 22. I don't like exactly how much this is stretched. But what if I add a halftime to it? That could be fun. Halftime, where are you at? I like that. And now I can add a bit of reverb. The stretching doesn't make it perfect, but it really doesn't have to be. And this can go through the sidechaining. Oh, and there's another thing I want to add before I add other little instruments, is I want to add just a little reverse, which I can actually get, like there's plenty of ways. I could reverse a kick, I could reverse a snare, I could do this a lot of ways, but I just want to grab the reverse that I know works 100%, which is just a little reverse from a virtual ride sample pack, like that. And I just want to fade it in, like that. Just like that. Yeah, and I'll add this channel, this track right here, 12, will be for the reverses. Oh, wait. Yeah, like that. It'll just reverse a little bit into the next bit. And then how long are we going here? Yeah, just over 2 hours. So we don't have too much longer for this drop. Maybe I can increase the length of the sidechaining a little bit. I'm gonna make this unique. I'm just doing little changes here because I want to make sure I get this generally detailed. And then I can add a little impact. An impact could be nice. Where can I get a nice impact? I can get a nice impact. I can also go from the Platinum Producer Bundle. So if I go one shots, sound effects, should have some impacts. Maybe I can use that one. It's nice and dark. Or maybe just this one with a little bit of mod X down so it's low passed. This one's also cool. Then maybe a little riser. Maybe I can take this one and like shorten it a lot. Like what if I turn stretch on and just cram this one down. Whoa, it's very high pitched. And I can change it to stretch. Just throw that right there. And that can just sit there in the background. And then I want to go into this drum loop. It needs to be EQ'd a little bit. So I will actually just throw this right into 8. What is Neuro Liquid drum and bass? Well, Neuro and Liquid drum and bass are kind of two different things. It's just it's drum and bass with a lot of neuro style basses, like neuro basses that are very liquidy and kind of bubbly and gurgly, kind of liquid sounding. I don't really know how to describe the genre as much as I know it when I hear it, kind of thing, when it comes to what I'm doing right now. But I didn't know going into this whether it would turn out to be more liquid or neuro-y. I just knew it was going to be something in that atmosphere. So basically what I want to do here is I want to use this EQ. Like that, just take that out. And then maybe take out some of these hi-hats and stuff. Yeah, take out this tambourine. Then I can just continue to make some changes. Okay, so now I'm just thinking about what else we could add here. Someone else was saying a piano. That could be kind of interesting. But what kind of pattern would I play with this piano? Like what piano pattern would go with this track that we have going right here? I know for a fact I do want some cymbals. If I can get a crash cymbal in there. And I'll use this one right here. Strings is more, seems to make a little more sense to me. Like if I can just have some brum, 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 kind of strings going on there. Where's something I can use for strings? Flex. Flex has strings. Let me see. Essential strings. All strings sustain. Haha, now we're getting CPU issues. Sorry if my stream lags out a bit there. Now I have to just up this buffer size a little bit. The project can go back down to 48. Buffer size is up, that's there. Project, okay. Should help a little bit. And now let me use this right here. Switch Smart Disable for all plugins. Yeah, I want to take all of this, all string staccato. Yeah, I want to go maybe something like that. That could be fun. Starts out with that, just staccato. Oh, do I need to create a new pattern? Oh no, I already am in a new pattern. Nice. This will kind of solidify the rhythm in our head as well. And this would be a good background layer. Yeah. A little bit of verb. And that actually gives me an idea. I kind of want to do another set of strings, but I want it to be a really high, like violin kind of string. Violins. Something like that. And I just want this constantly going in the background. So let's create a new pattern. Route this into 24. And this is going to go through the sidechain. Let's pull up an EQ. Let's lower this a little bit. And again, what I like to do when I'm just checking what I've got, whether it sounds good just on my headphones, I like to just give a little bit of space here and listen to what it sounds like. And another way to do a little bit of this is just turn your volume down a little bit. If you are mixing and producing on a really high volume, it could sound better than it actually is, like mix-wise. So if you bring this down, you can kind of get a better listen. And now I can hear that the drums are very loud. But that could be solved just by cranking it through the master a little bit more. Oh, there we go. And I think that is a pretty good pretty good beginning to a drum and bass track, what we got today. This drum and bass from scratch mainly turned out to be just the drum and bass drop. Sometimes I have time to do other bits of the song, sometimes I don't. I've been going for how long here? Yeah, I've been going for about 2.5 hours. So I think that would do it for this stream. I think it was cool stuff that we did here. We made some interesting sounds at the beginning. We made stuff like this. Oh. We made these plucks. We did a lot of resampling of stuff in Harmor. We did some Serum work here. Yeah, I was expecting it to loop there, but it didn't loop. Anyway, but I think that was pretty good. I'm generally happy with these results. I'm very glad that I went the route with the plucks as well instead of all the crazy weirdness of these. All of that, which it's cool, but it didn't have enough body. It didn't work enough. You have to make sure that your drops, when you're making them, are not crazy enough that nobody understands them. It's not just a mess of like digital vomit per se. Like you have to make sure there is some kind of tonality and sounds that you can follow. And these vocals actually did a lot. I'm happy with the way that those ended up turning out, and the strings and everything about it. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know there aren't that many people in the chat right now, but I know there are still some people watching. So just letting you know that I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this stream. And I guess just for the end, I'm just gonna say this is the final thing that we came up with on this stream right now. There we go. One more playthrough. Yeah, there it is. And I know there's plenty I could still do to this. There's tons I could still work on. I could tweak a bunch of other things. There's mixing that could be done. I could change these sounds. I could continue into plenty of the rest of the track. There's a lot of other stuff that could be done, but for the sake of progress that was made, I think it turned out pretty good. So I appreciate you all you guys sticking around for the stream, and I will see all of you in the next video. Happy producing.